episode of Align and Shine. We are here to assist you in bringing yourself into a higher vibration, if you like that wording, or just a more easeful state, if you prefer that, just to really regulate your nervous system and bring you down into some more calm and peace. So, I am joined by my beautiful co host, Meryl Hayton. Meryl, if you'd go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi there. Welcome, everyone. Grateful to be here. So my name is Meryl Hayton, and I'm a certified EFT professional. And I help you to have happier, healthier relationships and more joy in your life through somatic EFT tapping, spiritual optimal EFT, which is a meditative form of it. And then we marry in some intuitive messages and law of attraction and all of that. And I've created my own method called the emotional clearing method. So that's what we're going to be using today, along with Safrianna, if you want to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. And yes, everything Meryl does is so wonderful and juicy, which is why I love these Align and Shine calls. So I'm Safrianna Lughna, the queer spirit guide, and I help people embrace the awesomeness of their divine blueprint and come into alignment with their full selves so that they can actually live a life that feels good and nourishing rather than dragging through the 9 to 5 slog, hating every moment of it. That's what I'm about. And I also bring in the intuitive and spiritual work. I'm a retired trauma therapist, so I really have that full lens of mental health and holistic well-being. So just wrap it up into a pretty package as a guide, which feels really nourishing. So today we're going to be talking about the topic of being enough. And this is something I think so many of us struggle with. I'm sure you see this in your work all the time, Meryl, with people just not feeling like they're
Mhm.
doing enough, being enough, smart enough, kind enough, whatever enough.
Yeah.
So, we are going to get into that today. And the way that we do these sessions, you might want a cup of water, you might want a journal, and otherwise, you just need you and your hands to do some tapping. So, I will start with doing some energy clearing for us just to clear out any stuck, sticky, stagnant stuff that might be there. Sammy Sam's probably wrecking something in the background over there. But we big, big deep breath, right?
I'd like to get up and close my window.
You go for it. I'll start doing energy clearing.
Okay. Because
But with
there's
this,
a construction going on now right across the
ah,
street.
of
Excuse
course.
me, everybody.
Absolutely. We do what we got to do here.
Yeah.
So, with this clearing, I'm just going to invite you to sort of gather up anything that might be on your mind that might be distracting you from this session or, moving you into any immediate anxiety as we think about the topic of being enough. And I'm just going to do this gentle energy clearing on behalf of the collective and on behalf of each of us here. And I really like to say that the work that we're doing in ourselves is really having an impact in the collective. It really is having an impact on the people around us. When we align our energy, when we let stuff go, when we breathe deep, when we take care of ourselves, we're encouraging other people to do the same. And that's really magical. So, just dropping into the breath here a little bit. Eyes can be opened or closed. And just breathe in, I am enough. And breathe out any sensations, images, feelings, etc., that tell you you're not enough. We're going to be clearing so much more through the actual act of doing the EFT tapping. But right here, right now, just anything that's immediately coming up, we're going to see if we can ease around that and let that go. We've heard so many stories throughout our lives that we could do more or be better. We've probably received comments from loved ones that made us feel like we weren't doing enough, that we could give more. And I just really want to remind you, if you're listening to this, that self sacrifice is not the answer. Sacrificing yourself, your health, your well being, your peace, doesn't actually serve anybody, doesn't actually help anyone. So to me, being enough really means acknowledging the beautiful gift of a person that I am, and that just being here, being me, is all that I actually need to do. I am enough. So just see if you can take some of that in. You are enough exactly as you are, no matter how much you give or don't give. You are not here to do things for everyone else. You are ultimately here to take care of yourself and to step into more love, more truth, more peace, more alignment. So just take a nice, big, deep breath, maybe your deepest of the day here, and just let it all go with a sigh. And we'll get into some EFT tapping here to really get into this topic. And of course, I will be the demo, the model, but you can change it, modify it as you need it. So,
Yes.
I am enough, Meryl. Let's get into this.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. So, in my life, that's my negative core belief from my childhood. And when I became a yoga teacher, one of the things that I loved about my teachers was that they were able to weave, spiritual, psychological, emotional, self-development, type themes into the classes. And I love that. So when I became a teacher in my second training in 2017, that was one of the things my teacher said to me, like, what do you really want to learn? And I said, I really want to be able to theme my classes. She said, oh, that sounds great. And then I went and I took a training in mind body medicine when I first learned about EFT tapping. And she talked a lot about being enough, feeling enough, worthiness. And I was like, oh my God, yes, boop, all the bells and whistles are going off in my head. And then I came back with that to my yoga teacher, and she said, let's put a workshop together for you. So that's exactly what we did. So my first workshop ever that I taught 7 years ago was called I Am Enough. And I still do teach it today. It's just morphed into, like a longer, type of a program with many components together: tapping, journaling, some snacks, yoga, all the things, right? So, yeah, so I do absolutely talk about this with every single one of my clients, feels something similar, underneath all of the stuff that makes them feel anxious or stressed or sad or frustrated or angry or whatever. It's like when you dig under the layers of that, there is some like, I don't belong, I don't matter, I'm not enough, I don't, and it always makes us um feel the need to keep proving ourselves, feel the need to look outside of ourselves for validation, not have healthy enough boundaries, right? Overgive, overdo. I know you mentioned that already. People please.
Mm.
And then we're left depleted and maybe unknowingly
Yeah.
because we're not like masters of managing our energy and stuff yet, right? Like everybody is on a different self development journey. And um, yeah, so let's dive into that today. So pick one category in your life where you feel um, like you're, not enough. Like I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not knowledgeable enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm a failure, or there's this like criticism or judgment or something like that. And we'll dive into it. And, Safrianna is going to be led by me today, but for whoever is watching, just pick one category, pick one certain, situation and work on that. And I'll guide you to fill in the blanks with your own words and feelings and sensations. And then, we're both of us are here to help you after the fact as well, to try
Absolutely.
to really anchor into I'm fucking amazing.
Yes. Yes, we are, all of
Yes.
us. So the category that immediately came up for me was work.
Okay.
I'm actually on a sabbatical right now, so I've been really working with these feelings of how I show up in my work. And I'll work 12-hour days and still have that nagging sense of it not being enough. I didn't do enough to get ahead. I didn't do enough to achieve my goals, things like that. And I know that a lot of other entrepreneurs feel that way. So um, I
Yeah.
think it's a big, big thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go with feeling not enough in work.
Okay. Great. And rate that I'm not enough number right now on a scale of 0 to 10, and where do you fall? And, if anyone is really new to this work, just go with the first number that comes in. Don't try to overanalyze it. Just kind of let it happen. You can't do any of this work wrong, right? Like there's no way, you're not going to do it wrong. So don't worry. Where are you
So
today with that?
I'm gonna I got a 6, but then I felt back in and I was like slightly lower. So it's like a 5.5. It's not quite a full blown 6.
All right. Okay. So you'll follow along for whoever's watching, and we'll tap on the points, and you're going to repeat out loud whatever we say, and then you can, make it your own words. All right. So, and your words are, I'm feeling not enough. In
Not
like
Yeah, not
that's
enough in work,
okay. So
or I
even
don't do
though,
enough.
yeah,
Even though,
even though I feel like I'm not enough
even though I feel like I'm not enough
in my business,
in my business,
I'm choosing to honor how I feel.
I'm choosing to honor how I feel.
And even though I feel like I'm not doing enough,
And even though I feel like I'm not doing enough,
which makes me feel not enough,
which makes me feel not enough,
I'm acknowledging I feel this way.
I'm acknowledging I feel this way.
And even though I feel like I'm not enough,
And even though I feel like I'm not enough,
when I'm not, when I think I'm not doing enough,
when I think I'm not doing enough,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love, accept, and forgive myself anyway.
love, accept, and forgive myself anyway.
Top of the head. Not enough.
Not enough.
In between the eyebrows. I'm not enough.
I'm not enough.
Outside the eyes. Feeling not enough.
Feeling not enough.
Under the eyes. Not enough in my business.
Not enough in my business.
Under the nose. I feel not enough.
I feel not enough.
On the chin. Not enough.
Not enough.
Under the collarbone. I'm not enough.
I'm not enough.
And under the arm. I'm not enough.
I'm not enough.
All right, so we'll take a deep breath together in through the nose and out and sip. It's really important to stay hydrated when you're doing energy work. So,
I'm ADHD. I always have 2 or more beverages at any given time. So I noticed during that first tapping round a feeling in my stomach. It was like
hmm
really low down in my stomach, but there was a little like somersault, like this
oh,
little action here. There was just this like almost like my stomach was turning over. Um,
and would you
as you were
say that's
saying
a
that, yeah.
good feeling or a bad feeling?
Yeah, it was not a good feeling.
Okay. And the lowest part of your belly?
Yeah, it's like just above my sacral, below my solar plexus. So low, low, low abdomen, but not in like the groin or like sacral area. So
So
just above that.
belly button?
Just above my belly button, yeah,
All right, that's solar plexus.
but not all the way up here. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was interesting because it was deeper than like normally anxiety for me, I feel more up in the body. This was
yeah,
deeper, like
yeah. So
more primal.
for anyone who's watching, if you're not familiar with the chakra system, solar plexus is the third, and it's like above the belly button and below the chest, like right in this area here. And this is our power center. So, just like, and the color yellow represents that area. So it's just like the sun powers the earth. This is, how we feel our power. And if we feel kind of not enough, we might feel some kinds of sensations in that area. And it's just your body telling you that you need a little more balance in that area. So a great thing to do is to meditate on the color yellow in that area. There's different things that you can do for that. But this tapping will definitely help. So okay, so is it still somersaulting, or it just was a one-time thing, or what?
It was just this little churn
A churn.
for yeah, churning feeling for a moment, and then as we finished tapping, it sort of calmed again. But I was definitely getting curious what was going on there.
Okay. And are you still a 5.5?
I'm gonna put it at a 5 now.
All right.
It was like I started to get a couple little threads of, oh, where's this is coming from, like old stories of work from my upbringing.
Right. Okay. All right. So we are staying on the same words. We're going to add in the physical part. We don't have to go back to the side of the hand for anyone who's new to this, because we're staying on the same. If you were switching to, oh, what I was working on now is like down much lower, but I have this new word that's really coming in at a higher number, then you want to switch over to that and do a different setup on the side of the hand. So that's a little bit more advanced, but so we're going to go back to the top of the head, and we're going to say, like, I feel not enough in my solar plexus,
I feel not enough in my solar plexus.
in between the eyebrows. My solar plexus feels not enough.
My solar plexus feels not enough.
Outside the eyes, not enough in my solar plexus.
Not enough in my solar plexus.
Under the eyes, I feel not enough.
I feel not enough.
And my solar plexus was churning a little.
And my solar plexus was churning a little.
Under the nose. And what's happening with it now?
Now it's like a little flutter. Like it's still there.
Okay.
It's
So this
fluttering.
not, okay. So this not enough flutter
There's not enough flutter
in my solar plexus.
in my solar plexus.
On the chin. My solar plexus has this not enough flutter in it.
My solar plexus has this not enough flutter in it.
Under the collarbone. This not enough flutter.
This not enough flutter.
It's in my solar plexus.
It's in my solar plexus.
And under the arm. This not enough flutter in my solar plexus.
This not enough flutter in my solar plexus.
All right, deep breath in through the nose. Let it out. Sip of water. And then you notice, how does that feel? For anyone who's watching, it's really important to keep track in your journal, where you started, what your words are, what's shifted, and notice that the numbers have come down. And so where are you at right now?
Yeah, it's been shifting. So it's shifting from the story of not enough to the emotion or sensation of anxiety. I'm
Oh,
anxious I'm not enough.
mm,
And what's even like with that is I'm anxious I won't have the energy to quote unquote do everything I'm supposed to do, right? That's the I've got to do all of this. So I'm kind of getting into the root, like this story
okay,
that I have to do all the time.
great. All right. So what's the solar plexus like now?
It's moving up a little bit higher into that anxiety feeling now.
Okay.
And I would put the anxiety at a 4. Like, it's still all coming down because it's getting more and more clarity right now
Yeah,
on
but
what's going on there.
Right. And I feel not enough in my business. Just come back to that phrase.
Yeah, I
Is
feel not
that
enough in my business.
is
I'd
that
still
still
put that as a 4.
okay?
Yeah.
I'm just making notes. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And is this anxiety that's moving up, is that still feel like a flutter?
Now it's more like when I feel anxious, it's a tension, like a gripping, a squeezing that kind of pulses, and it is coming, like I said, higher into the stomach, so higher in the solar plexus, not quite up to the heart yet, but definitely like here now, and it's just kind of squeezing, like heart palpitations, but in the gut.
Yep. Okay. Um, and it's the anxiety that you won't be able to do more.
Yeah, therefore not doing enough. I won't be able to do enough to insert the rest of the narrative here, right?
Okay. All right. So that's shifted enough where I want to go back and do another statement here. So side of the hand. All right. So I was feeling not enough in my business at a 5.5.
I was feeling not enough in my business at a 5.5.
And now I realize
And now I realize
that I'm anxious. I won't be able to do enough.
I'm anxious. I won't be able to do enough.
And the flutter that I felt in my solar plexus
And the flutter I felt in my solar plexus
is starting to move up now
is starting to move up now
towards my chest.
towards my chest.
Mm. And it feels more like anxiety.
And it feels more like anxiety.
And I'm just honoring this change.
I'm just honoring this change.
And right here and now,
And
nothing
right here
bad is
now,
happening.
nothing bad is happening.
I am safe here.
I am safe here.
All right, so we're going to do a new phrase, right? Even though I'm feeling this anxiousness
Even though I'm feeling this anxiousness
and this gripping feeling in my chest,
and this gripping feeling in my chest.
and it's at a 4,
Yeah, and it's out of 4.
I'm choosing to honor how I feel.
I'm choosing to honor how I feel.
So, since it's kind of the same subject and whatnot, I think that's enough. I think you know exactly, right, what we're working on. We do normally say it 3 times to make sure that your subconscious knows exactly what we're working on. I don't think it's necessary today. I'm just using my intuition here. So, all right. So, this gripping, tense, I'm not going to be able to do enough.
This gripping tense, I'm not going to be able to do enough.
Inside the eyebrows, not doing enough, anxiety.
Not doing enough anxiety.
Outside the eyes, my chest and solar plexus feels this gripping anxiety.
My chest and solar plexus feel this gripping anxiety.
Under the eyes, this gripping anxiety in my solar plexus and chest.
This gripping anxiety in my solar plexus and chest.
Under the nose, deep breath in. Really let it go. On the chin, this gripping anxiety in my solar plexus and chest.
This gripping anxiety in my solar plexus and chest.
Under the collarbone, my solar plexus and chest
My solar plexus and chest
feels this gripping anxiety.
feels this gripping anxiety.
Under the arm, I'm not going to be able to do enough.
I'm not going to be able to do enough.
And that makes me feel
And that makes me feel anxious,
what else?
worried,
Yeah,
upset.
yes, worried. All right. Um, So how was that round for you? Anything shift?
The numbers feel like they're creeping down a little bit. Like now I'd put it at a 3.5. Um, there's no new story coming in. Like there's no new threads of connections coming in at this point, but just the sensations are sort of beginning to kind of calm and ease up a little bit.
Right. So for anyone who's watching, anxiety is always a word that people use, um, and it's really symptoms and feelings, right? And that's kind of what was starting to happen for you. But underneath that is usually some different categories of the feelings, right? So immediately I asked her, and you said worried. Okay, so worried that you're not going to do enough,
Hmm.
and what because.
Worried I'm not going to do enough because I don't have the energy.
Okay, because I don't have the energy, because.
Because I struggle with burnout.
Okay,
Because I overdo it.
all right. And I'm just making notes. Um, because I overdo. Okay. And this makes me feel what about myself?
It makes me feel inadequate about myself.
Mm, all right. Okay, so I'm worried at what number?
Hmm. I'm gonna put the worry at like the 3.5.
Okay. All right. So for the people watching, back to the side of the hand because the word changed, right? You always want to try to get underneath what the anxiety is and get to the words that are really making you feel anxious, right? So usually under anxiety is some sort of worry or fear about the future, like uncertainty, something like that. Being in limbo, anything, right? Yeah. Okay. So even though I notice
Even though I notice
I was feeling anxious,
I was feeling anxious,
I now know that I'm worried,
I now know that I'm worried,
that I won't be able to have enough energy
that I won't be able to have enough energy
to do more, to do enough.
to do more or enough.
And I'm just honoring I feel that way.
And I'm just honoring I feel that way.
And even though I'm worried,
And even though I'm worried
I won't have the energy to do enough.
that I won't have the energy to do enough,
I'm acknowledging I feel that way.
I'm acknowledging I feel that way.
And even though I'm worried,
And even though I'm worried,
I am feeling better,
I am
right?
feeling better
Because I was at a 5.5,
because I was at a 5.5.
and now I'm down to a
I'm going to put it at a 3. Now I'm down to a 3.
3. And I've noticed that my words have shifted a little bit, and all that's okay.
And I've noticed my words have shifted, and that is okay.
Top of the head. All this worry
All this worry.
in between the eyebrows. Would you still put this as gripping in the chest, or what is this now?
I would say this worry now feels like just a weight in my stomach.
Outside the eyes. What part of your stomach?
It's kind of sunk low again, like in the pit of my stomach. This worry in the pit of my stomach.
Okay. So solar plexus?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Under the nose. So this worry in my solar plexus.
this worry in my solar plexus.
My solar plexus is worried
My solar plexus is worried.
under the collarbone. All this worry in my solar plexus
All this worry in my solar plexus.
and under the arm. This worry in my solar plexus.
This worry in my solar plexus.
Top of the head. The most important thing I can do
The most important thing I can do
in between the eyebrows is to bring myself back to the present moment.
is to bring myself back to the present moment.
Oh, outside the eyes. So yawning is clearing, is healing, right? Underneath the eyes. Bringing myself back to the present moment.
Bringing myself back to the present moment
Under the nose will help me to remember.
will help me to remember
On the chin that nothing bad is happening.
that nothing bad is happening,
Under the collarbone that I don't need to worry.
that I don't need to worry.
Under the arm I can trust and have faith
I can trust and have faith
because right now nothing bad is happening.
because right now nothing bad is happening.
Top of the head. And I can also anchor into what are some things that you know you can trust and that you can anchor into that can help you to pivot when you feel the worry.
I can always trust that I am very creative.
Mm-hmm. What else?
I can always trust that I do know the means to take care of myself.
Yeah. Outside the eyes.
And I can trust that everything is working out for me one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm safe, supported, and loved.
Yes. Yes. Under the nose. So for whoever's watching, do the same thing. What are the things that you can anchor into that can help you pivot, right? So even though I'm feeling worried,
Even though I'm feeling worried,
under the collarbone, I know I'm safe, supported, and loved.
I know I'm safe, supported, and loved.
Under the arm, even though I'm worried,
Even though I'm worried,
right here and now, I'm safe, supported, and loved.
right here and now, I am safe, supported, and loved.
All right, let's pause. Right? Deep breath. And how are you doing now?
Yeah, I'd put everything at like a 1 now.
Great.
It's come down significantly. There's still like the best way I can describe it is there's a hum in the body,
Uh-huh.
but it's like a really low energy hum. Like things are kind of reworking or reestablishing themselves as everything starts to come down. It's like when you shake a snow globe. It's like everything's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
down
yeah.
at the bottom, settling down now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like that analogy. All right, so let's do just a little short meditation with the optimal EFT is an upgraded form. I call it like Reiki on steroids, um, where it's a similar process of using the words and the reframing and all that, but we're not tapping. So for whoever's watching, I'll just guide you through. You can close your eyes. In this practice, I use the higher power of the unseen therapist, but you can use whoever you want. Your whole team of spirit guides, God, angels, the universe, just the words higher power, it doesn't matter. And you are surrendering to your higher power, whatever you're working on, right? So Safrianna is going to surrender this pattern, right? Help me to unravel and resolve this pattern of feeling like I need to overdo in order to get somewhere, to get ahead. And if I don't, I feel like I'm not enough, or I feel like I'm not doing enough. And that makes me feel anxious because I get worried that I'm not going to have the energy to do more. And I know that I struggle with burnout and I don't want that to happen. So maybe that's another worry aspect we can bring in here, because I tend to overdo. And if I don't overdo, then I feel inadequate, which is same as, I'm not enough. So this whole help to unravel and resolve this spiral so that I know I'm doing enough. I know that I am enough. Um, right? Just by being me. I know that I'm enough. I know I'm doing enough. Um, and help me to anchor into this I'm safe, supported, and loved feeling every time I feel a little anxious, every time I feel a little worried, every time I feel like I'm not enough or inadequate because I don't have more energy than a 12-hour workday. um, and every time that I feel like I should take a break, I I'm able to listen to that, right? I have the courage to listen to those messages. And every time that I feel in my body this gripping anxiety or the hum and right, the hum and the churning, right, of the I'm not enough and the anxiety and the worry and all of that. Those are the subtle messages that my body is telling me that I am doing enough and that it's okay to have more balance. So let's just send all of that to your higher power. They know exactly how to resolve it and what to do. You just need to feel open to them handling it and knowing that you're supported here. Um, and all we're going to do now is focus on a loving, happy moment in our lives. So for me, it's hanging and loving with my cat. It can be something you do with your kids or your significant other. Anything that, even if it's you're by yourself, like in your happy place, and that just makes you feel really good and calm and connected and free. And it's one moment, not many, right? Sometimes people who suffer from a lot of anxiety tend to have, I don't know which moment to pick, right? Just pick one moment, and just focus on that feeling and the image. That's it. And I'm going to time us for 2 minutes. That's all we're going to do. And I'm going to do it together with you and send my love out to you and the universe. And we're just going to let divine guidance and divine timing take over. Listen for the messages that may come now or may come in the future for you. Feel a little gratitude here for this pattern, for these feelings showing up, because this is what is really helping you to move forward, right? These feelings are mirroring for you some work that still needs to be done. So feeling into that gratitude and then thanking your higher power for helping you. Even if it was just a little reminder that you felt today. Just feeling grateful and thankful. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I had the funnest image, Meryl.
What was that?
I think that this is so good. Oh my gosh. You know when you go to the not the mail, the bank and you're like sending in cash for them to put in your bank account or like a check that you need to have signed or something and you put in that little canister and
Yep.
you put it in the thing and you hit the button and it goes whoop
Yeah.
up into the
Yes.
bank. When we were giving surrendering our worries, that's what happened is I was putting them in this little canister and all of a sudden whoop
I
up it
love it.
goes. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so good." Now I'm just gonna think about that anytime I'm like, I'm handing it to you guys. It's like putting it in the little bank slip and off it goes.
Yes. And I'm so stealing that for when I'm guiding people through that. I can use that as an analogy.
I was like, this is really, really, really a strong image because so many of us have done at least I don't know how many really, really young people these days have done that, but I at least have had that experience. So I think it's great. Yeah, that was oh, I felt such a weight lifted when I sent it off to them.
Oh, that's great. Like just surrendering it, you
Yep.
know?
Like you're gonna sort it out inside and up in your divine territory. I don't need it anymore. Thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Hmm.
How do you feel now?
I definitely whatever's still there is under a one. I don't even feel it at a one. Um, there was a lot more like acceptance of course you do enough and not everything you do is going to yield like immediate results. But it's all building and there was more trust, trust the process, trust the timing, know
Yeah.
that I am doing enough. I just keep moving forward, right? One step at a time.
Hmm. Great. I love it.
Amazing.
So I just want to mention for the people who are watching, at this point, if we were going to continue a private session, I would now ask, when in your life, in your past, do you have the same anxiety and worry feelings like you were not doing enough? And we would go back to those situations and see what still has higher numbers in it, and we would remove that. And that helps you to also be able to really anchor into new behaviors, new thoughts, new perspectives even more so that you can unravel and heal patterns. So, just so you know, there's many more layers to this work than what we're doing here, right? This was very basic, believe it or not. Um, and and you can see like in about a half hour or so, like we did a lot, we accomplished a lot.
Yeah, this is sneaky peeky, right? Surface level so that we can all benefit together from these universal themes and because I don't think I've ever met a single person who has not at some point felt, that sense of I'm not enough. I think it's something we all struggle with. So I'm just drawing some cards over here now to bring this home for us
Yes.
to really see where else the universe is calling us to keep working with this sense of not enoughness. And the first card is Emerald and Milk Thistle, that little bee on top of the flower there. So, this card is encouraging us to heal at the soul level and to remember the soul truth that we are enough, that we are perfectly designed, right? That God or higher power or our higher self, us between lifetimes, if you believe in that, that we were perfectly designed. And we just need to keep bringing ourselves back to alignment. And we can do that using tools like this, right? Like EFT, like energy clearing, like acknowledging our patterns and cycles so that we can break them and return back to that soul level truth. And to heal that inner healer, to heal the part of us that knows knows deeply that we are perfect, that we are okay, that we're safe, supported, and loved. To heal that part so that that part of us can stand in power, and support us when we need to drop into a moment like this and actually do some self work, right? The next one is fuchsia and feldspar. So we've got this energetic figure with these fuchsia, almost like flowers flying through the air. And this one is all about the inner child. So what really comes up for me now, I do think it's really funny. My loving moment was actually, I was just in the woods for the weekend, and I went down to the stream and I sat with my feet in the stream, and fish were coming over and like nibbling my toes, and I was like shrieking in laughter. Uh, so find that inner child glow and glee wherever you can, because the inner child knows you're enough, right? When we were really little and we were just playing and we were in our innocence and our like self-awareness, right? We really only had the awareness of ourselves when we were really little and what was right in front of us. And that exploration, like when we return to that source of where we came from, we can really have the self-awareness that we are enough, that we're multidimensional, that we're multifaceted, and that's plenty, right? We are very complex. And the inner child can remind us of that joy that is there at the deepest levels of self. And then Priscilla Bluestone is the last one. In this card, it's like a circle of standing stones, and there's a little dragon sitting on top of this stone. This card is very, very woo compared to everything else we've done today. So I'm going to try and thread this through in a really understandable way. But when we are feeling not enough, we are being invited to take a pilgrimage back to the heart. That's what this card is about. It's about going on journeys and taking pilgrimages. So what I'm really feeling here is this coming back to the heart, to know, to feel into the unconditional love of ourselves, of the divine, of our spirit teams, of the land we live on whatever, but a pilgrimage back to the heart to find that love energy again, to be able to offer that loving kindness to ourselves when it feels otherwise difficult, right? Because if we're feeling not enough, we might feel unworthy on top of that. So, journey back to the heart, find that inner child, and heal the healer within. And when we do that, all of that is layering up to ensure that we have the tools to get out of those spirals and break those cycles that we're talking about here.
Mhm.
So I love, this is such a a beautiful nature deck. Unsurprised that it's who I'm working with today. But and I just want to say, like, notice the green and the pink here, because that is the heart and the higher heart chakras.
Yep.
Since we've been working so much with the chakras today, the heart and the higher heart, this unconditional, unwavering love that we can offer to ourselves, to others, to the universe, to all the creatures, to the planet, right? And that when we're in love and we really feel that love, we know we're enough. And we know everything and everyone is enough because love is the ultimate force. So that's what I'm taking from today. Just love ourselves, love each other.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for pulling cards for us.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, as always, if there's a topic you want to see us tap on and do some intuitive work around, let us know. We are here to serve, and Meryl is an incredible EFT practitioner. If you want to go deep with a tool and really, really learn it inside and out for yourself, highly recommend Meryl for that EFT work. And I'm here to do whatever it is that I do in the multi dimensions with you if you need that support as well. So we love you, we see you, we believe in you, and you are enough.
Yes, you are amazing. I am
Or
amazing. Say it.
I am amazing.
I am amazing.
We are all so amazing. So keep doing what you're doing. We're here for you. Let us know if you need anything. Otherwise, you can view the show notes to find our links and all that good stuff. And we'll be back soon for another episode of Align and Shine.